Okay, so far in this Bootstrap website, we've created a root folder with our images folder in there. I've got some images ready. We opened Dreamweaver, connected to the root folder and connected to the images folder. So we made that site connection. We made our first page, which is the index page. Within that page has the body. Within that body, we added a container fluid. And within that container fluid, we've added a nav bar. Now the nav bar has a lot of tags underneath there with all the different elements. And if I want to add something else after the nav bar, I want to go back to this nav bar level here. Make sure that's connected to highlighted in blue. And you can also see this at nav bar levels highlighted out here in my file window. Next, I'm going to add a carousel, but I'm going to put that in a row, in a blank row, so I can make a editable region later. So let me go ahead and click in this grid row with column. I want there to be one column, and I want this to be after, so it's going to be after my nav bar. Okay, and there we go. And I can see it put the row after the nav bar. It's a blank row. You can see up here with that row selected. If I open that, I can see there's a large column 12. There's a column in there, and click on that column. Now within that column, I'm going to place my carousel. I want that nested, or within that column, so nest. Okay, that's a 3-image carousel, and we'll come back and see how we can change the images in that later. Let me go back to the row level here. Once again, there's a row level. Within that row is that column element. Within that is my carousel. Now the carousel has a bunch of levels with different images and things. But right now I'm just concerned with going back to the row level and adding something after that. After that, I'm going to add a jumbotron. It's a pre-made element, and I want that after that grid row. Okay, so there we are. Then we'll come back and change this and add to it later. After my jumbotron, I want to do a series of columns with some different information in that. So let me go ahead and add another grid row with columns. And this time I want 3 columns, and this is going to be after my jumbotron. So say OK. I can see listed the tag after over here, and I can also see I have I have a row with 3 different columns, so I can add stuff to each column. So if I look at my tag and I open up that row, I see I have column large 1, column large 4. I have 3 of those column large 4s. So there's a measurement of 4. We have a measurement of 12 across. This one has a measurement of 4 in that column, 4 in this column, and 4 in that column. So that's how much space I have in the desktop size. So I'm going to click on this first large column 4, and I can insert some elements into that. I'm going to insert a responsive image. I'm just going to do the default one for now, and I want that to be nested inside that column. It's going to take a second. There it is. Now if I scroll down, I can see there's an image in there. I can click on that image. See it's selected here. It's also highlighted on my DOM panel, and I can insert something else. This time I'm going to insert some text. So I'm going back to my basic HTML insert in my insert panel, and I'm going to insert heading 2. It's not right or wrong. I'm just doing a heading 2. I want this after my image. There we go. Now that heading 2 is selected, this time I'm going to insert some basic paragraph text. So I can click on my paragraph, and I want that after that H2 also. Okay. I could keep adding more. I could add more images, more text, whatever. This image is just a placeholder image, and it's a responsive, which means it'll resize when I resize my window. We'll see that in a second. All right, let me go to my next column here, my next large column 4. There it is. And I want to insert some of the same things. I could copy and paste, or I can click within here, go back to my Bootstrap components, insert a default responsive image. We also see there's circular around and all these other ones. I'm just going to do default image. I want that nested inside that column, just like I did before. Now with that image selected, I can go back to my HTML tags, insert, and I'm going to insert H2 again. I want some consistency there after my image. And I'm going to insert some basic paragraph text after that, H2. There we go. Starting to sense a pattern, hopefully. I can go to my third column here. My third column, large 4. And once again, I'm going back to my bootstrap. And insert my default image. I want that nested inside that column. That image selected, I can go back to my HTML. Heading 2, after the image, and some paragraph text after that image. I haven't saved for a while, so let me save. Now when I'm saving, after I've inserted some of these placeholder images, it's going to save the placeholder images to my images folder. That's okay. Alright, so I'm starting to build a web page here. Not too bad. Now I want to add some more pre-made elements after these 3. So once again, these are in columns, but I want to go to the highest level in that section. There's my row, and that's the row out here that holds all 3 of these in. So I'm to that row level, and I can insert something else. Well, this time I'm going to insert another Jumbotron. So let me go back to my bootstrap components and Jumbotron. So, sort of like a hero tag, a hero section, a large section. At that row level. There we go. Looks like I have a little trouble here. There it goes. I want that after that row. So now if I scroll down, I can see there's another Jumbotron there. We can change that later. I'm at Jumbotron. Now I'm going to add what's called a thumbnail. These are pre-made sections. There's a thumbnail. I want that after my Jumbotron. Now what that does, it puts in a row, and if I open that row, I see it has one of the column medium 4. If I open that up, I see there's a thumbnail section there. In that thumbnail section, there's an image and a caption. Within that caption, there's H3 and 2 paragraph tags. One of those paragraph tags is a button, or a couple buttons. So I open that, I can see those buttons. And paragraph text, H3, caption, image, and the thumbnail level. That one thumbnail level is in that column 4, and that column 4 is within that row. Alright, a little confusing, but you can see how things are built that way. So I can select any of those elements over here and do some changes, and we'll do some of those later. Let's keep building our placeholder stuff first. So, well, I like this thumbnail. What if I wanted to do 2 more of those across here? I can't just insert another thumbnail because I'll put in a whole nother row and all these other levels. What I can do is underneath that thumbnail row, I can take that first column. I know everything's in there, right? So I can go to I can go right click, duplicate, and it gives me another one right there. Click on that one, right click, and duplicate. You can also see I can copy, cut, delete, and all those type of things. I'm going to duplicate that whole column with a thumbnail section. So now I have 3 of them I can adjust later. Now if I want to add anything after this, I'm going to go back to my row, and I could add something after that. The row level is all the way out here. It holds all these 3 columns and these 3 thumbnail sections. So go back to that row. Well, this time I'm going to add another Jumbotron and maybe 1 more Jumbotron after. So I have 2 more Jumbotrons we can adjust later. And I'm going to show you a couple more sections. Next, I'm on this Jumbotron section, the last one here. I'm going to go back to my HTML, and I'm going to insert, we can do sections, we can also do articles. I'm going to do an article on this one. And I want this after that Jumbotron. So now there's sort of just a blank article in there with some default text. Now we're going to see later how we can center this article, but I want to, while we're here at this article level, before I start changing it too much, I want to actually put it in another section so I can center it within that section and make some changes within the background there. So with that article tag selected, I'm going to add a section. I want this to wrap around my article. Okay, so now I see there's a section, and within that section is that article. That'll just give me another level where I can put some background images, background color, or any other padding or margin adjustments with my article in the center. Okay, now I'm at that section level. And this time I'm just going to put a blank section after that section, and we'll see how we can work on that later. And the final thing I'm going to do is with my HTML, I'm going to put a footer, and I want that after that final section. Okay, I haven't saved for a while, so let me save. Just going to save any placeholder thumbnails, and let's preview this in the browser just to see where we're at and see how these things work. Alright, so this is basically just a placeholder website so far. We have our navigation at the top, and as I scroll down, see how the website scrolls, but web page scrolls, but the navigation stays at the top. Okay, so there's my carousel, and it's cycling through. There's my Jumbotron, my 3 columns I've created, another Jumbotron, my thumbnail sections, put another Jumbotron at the bottom, and down here you can see my article within the section, my section with no article in it, and a footer. Okay, this is all just placeholder text. Let's see how this resizes if I resize my window. Now, the good thing about Bootstrap, I resize my window, and it rearranges and resizes carousel images, all these sections up here. If I scroll down, I can see how these images, these thumbnails and columns will realign and resize. Okay, it may not look the best now, but we'll see how we can change all that. We go down even a little smaller, and once again they rearrange and resize, so totally responsive. Even the carousel resizes, the layout of the Jumbotrons, the images, and the columns all rearranged. Now what also happens up here, my navigation bar breaks down into the stack here, so I can click that and go through these different levels here. Okay, so it displays my navigation bar right there. So I can close this stack. So this is sort of like the cell phone or mobile phone view. And then we have the tablet views. You can see how everything resizes. My computer's going a little slow here, but it should be instantaneous resizing. It should usually go pretty fast all the way up to full desktop size. Alright, so you can see we've got a pretty good layout, but it definitely needs some tweaking. Definitely need to tweak the colors, the content, the fonts, but also some of the arrangements, some of the alignments. We'll see how we can do all that in a second. Okay, so I've saved all that, and we'll come back and see how we can adjust some of the look, content, and then finally our CSS styles, or CSS rules for this Bootstrap website.